Hi, Amanda. The government, through DCIT, has its own National Security Online Information Team. It's been rebranded, but it's attempting to counter misinformation online. Can you tell us how Google engages with that team? Are you proactive? Are you reactive? And how frequently are you in contact with them?
Yeah, so we do engage with that team more on some products than others, but we're not dependent on that team. So we have our own policies, we have our own technical teams who look for signals of state-backed activity. So our threat analysis group is tracking 270 state actors across 50 countries on a real-time basis, and that then feeds signals to all of our products to take action against coordinated influence operations that are state-backed. When we do find examples of that, we're transparent about that, and in crisis situations, we absolutely share information directly with the unit that you're describing.
Okay, can I move on to digital advertising? Obviously, Google is a major player in advertising space online. Adalytics, an American firm, only this month, published research showing that Google's ad networks had placed adverts on a sickening child abuse image website called IBB. You will be aware of this. The companies whose adverts appeared alongside there were obviously appalled. They said they had no idea sometimes where their products and brands were being advertised when they sent it to Google. Do you have any real answers in terms of how you can cope with that as a phenomenon? The worry is that this isn't just a one-off, that then you reacted quickly and you countered it, but there's something systemic about the lack of clarity and transparency in the way your digital networks work.
Yeah, so I am familiar with this case, and obviously it's abhorrent to see any child sexual abuse material online, and certainly not acceptable to see that content monetizing in any way. It is a challenge with user-generated content sites that you have to constantly assess the content that is being generated on those sites. In that particular case, we had already taken action against some of the sites that were identified, and the monetization was in the order of sort of $2 to $3. So not acceptable, but very, very tiny amounts. In terms of child sexual abuse imagery and material generally, we have a really strong record in this space. So we've invested heavily to make sure that we are able to identify this content really accurately, really quickly, and take action. We have what's called our Child Safety API that we actually offer to the industry and is used by many, many players, large and small, to detect CSAM and then prioritize it for review and action. And we provide all of those signals to NCMEC, the National Centre for Missing and Exploited Children. Our tip reports to them are known as being some of the highest quality in the industry. We provided 3 million of those tip reports in the first half of last year. So our record on CSAM is excellent. This was one case where we got it wrong, and we've taken action on that. And then to your broader question about trust and transparency in the online ads ecosystem, I talked earlier about this triumvirate of users, publishers, and advertisers who we're optimizing for. And it's obviously critical that we get that right. That's a business imperative for us. Publishers have to be able to trust that the ads that are serving on their sites are high-quality ads that operate within our policies. Advertisers have to be able to trust that their ads are not going to show up next to this kind of content. And we give them controls to make sure they can tailor by category or even by URL if they want to really restrict where their ads are showing up. And that's all part of our transparency and accountability to the advertising ecosystem to make sure people can have confidence in the safety of that.
A lot of advertisers still think it's too opaque and that there's not enough transparency. Are you taking any fresh steps to reassure them?
So would be happy to share more details on recent changes that we've made. I think the key pieces for us are the controls for advertisers that I mentioned that give them that granular ability to sort of shift the dial on how the environments in which their ads are going to show up. And then the ad safety report that we publish every year, which talks about the actions that we've taken at the content layer and the actor layer. So, for example, in the last report that we put out, we'd taken action on 5.5 billion ads that violated our policies, 2.1 billion publisher pages that violated our policies. So we are very, very active in this space to ensure the ecosystem is safe and trustworthy.
Obviously, you mentioned that it's very damaging for the advertisers, but ultimately it's very damaging to Google, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Because even if it is just $2 or $3 on a sickening child abuse website, that's appalling. And isn't it the case that Google, as it stands, cannot guarantee it doesn't profit from such websites, and it doesn't profit from information, and it doesn't profit from hate speech? You simply can't say that, can you?
Well, we have really rigorous policies. We have really rigorous processes to detect this kind of content and take action, or detect bad actors and take action at the actor level. And we take it very seriously, doing that work well. That's what my team does every day. We are trying to stick to those policies at speed, at scale, at high quality. And we continuously learn from where we have made errors to make sure that system is improving.
But at the moment, you can't guarantee that Google doesn't profit from all that hate.
We have been audited by multiple third parties that have not found evidence of us significantly in this space. So we will continue to be transparent and to be open to those sorts of assessments. And ultimately it comes down to publishers, advertisers, users trusting us and using our services, and that's the real test for us.